You're listening to SIBN Radio on the SaletteUSAtv iBroadcasting network. You're listening to SIBN Radio. I want to ask you a question. Who's coaching you? Who's asking you the tough questions? Who's telling you, man, you're the common denominator to all of your issues and challenges? Who's telling you, man, all day long you become the magnetic pulse that attracts to you both good and bad? I want to be your life coach. I want to be the one that cheers you on to the finish line. I want to be the one that you ask the tough questions. And it doesn't mean that I have all the answers, but that means that you have a partner, someone who believes in you, not the you see right now, but the you can't imagine, the you that you are to become, the you were destined to be. I always say we both need the positive and the negative. It's not enough to have the knowledge of the matter, but we must have the wisdom as well. Or wisdom settles it. And that's what I want to offer you as you join me on the Coach's Corner. I want to offer you the wisdom of the matter. Maybe it might be relationships, talking about our campaigns for more, for life, the dark room of our subconscious, our spiritual journey. Whatever it is, I want to be there to encourage you, to build you, to challenge you, to cheer you on to the finish line. I'm qualified to do this. Why? Because I'm you.
Well, thank you so much for joining us for our special edition once again of the Coach's Corner right here on SIBN Radio, brought to you in part by SaletteUSAtv, now offering business profile videos, B-rolls, voiceovers, or an interview. Call 678-379-8060. Your BPV business profile videos offered by SIBN Television and Radio Networks. We're so glad that you are aboard. Don't forget now to follow us right here on Twitter, as you can see right there on your screen. Thank you so much for joining in. We were having some challenges a little bit earlier today, but we have ironed out as many wrinkles as we possibly could. And what we can do, we have done, and we can do no more. Have you ever felt that way? Follow us right there on Twitter at SaletteUSAtv. If you got any questions, by all means, email me so that we could afford you whatever solutions we have or experience that will speak to the continued search for solutions as you press forward. And soon we'll be able to take a few calls, but don't forget to subscribe to us right there on YouTube. Let's get right to work. Today we're going to be talking about plan your life ahead of time. Plan your life ahead of time. And we have a couple of other graphics that we're going to stick in and or under this subject. SIBN Television and Radio is committed to bringing you wholesome programming that will motivate you, instigate you, and irrigate you toward destiny, fulfilling, and having a fruitful future. Plan your life ahead of time. I don't know who I'm talking to, as the preacher would once say. Who am I talking to? T.D. Jakes is known for that. But I want to encourage you that your life is your design. Let me say that again. Your life is your design. Your life is your design. And so if you do not plan ahead of time, the design can be no one's fault but your own. The lack of design can be no one's fault but your own. Plan your life ahead of time. So many times we allow life to just simply pass us by. And I want to encourage you, I want to press upon you to do some planning. Now, later on, or maybe now I should give you a snippet, maybe later on we'll touch on it a little bit more, that the planning of your life will have to have a rubber band type flexibility in order for you to manage the variety of changes that will occur in the process of inaugurating your plan. But that must not stop us from planning our lives. And later on, when I talk about crisis management, a little bit of that, you'll be able to see why I am saying that you're going to have to be flexible, because things are going to come up, things are going to interrupt, things are going to step into the very mud that you are in, to challenge you to come out of the mud. Go clean yourself off and deal with mama. Go clean yourself off and deal with the realtor. Go clean yourself off and deal with the job. Or take 5 and go detox yourself from competition, detox yourself from frustration, detox yourself from a hostile situation. Any number of things can cause your plans to be flexible and cause you to have to alter your stratagems and your tactics to ensure that your outcomes are met. I need some help right there. I felt something pushing me in my back. So I need you to tweet me out and let me know. Put your comments right there up under the video. Coach, you right on with that. But sometimes you got to take a time out. Listen, every game, as it were, has 2 halves or 4 quarters. I'm just saying, at some point you got to stop, regroup, re-strategize, allow the flexible part of your planning to take part, and then move once again, building back up the momentum from the first quarter. I need some help, or second quarter, third or fourth, or the first half. Everyone has to take a break. Everyone has to stop. Everyone has to regroup. Everyone has to step back. Everyone has to rest. Everyone has to, you got it, okay? And so we're talking about planning your life ahead of time. And our hope is that when we're done with this particular topic, that you will feel comfortable enough to begin to make some plans. And I'm talking specifically to young people, because so many times young people feel that they can't make plans. I felt something push me. Something just hit me right there in my spirit. You feeling that you can't make a plan because you made mistakes. You feel like you can't make a plan because you've got something on your driver's license. Let's just stop right there and talk about that. I mean, there are times when your plan is seemingly impeded by boundaries and limitations that is around you, or that have succumbed or come up on you. Surrounding you and come up on you is 2 different things, but they both can happen, not just one at a time, but sometimes at the same time. And though we put our plans on hold, and we often defer the future further into the future because of something in the past, but my encouragement by saying to you, plan your life ahead of time, simply means take time after you've stepped back, after you've rested, after you've regrouped. Take time to replan. I know the energy doesn't feel the same until you get into it. The ideas and the stratagems would not come to you until you commit. I was talking to my mother, and we were talking about agape love, and one of the things I said to her, if I could say it exactly the way I said it earlier, it would be phenomenal, but I'm sure I won't. But I will say this: the seeds, the ingredients, the active ingredients of agape love cannot be revealed to those who refuse to commit to its longevity of practice. I need some help. The seeds, the ingredients. If you don't have a notebook, now why are you joining us on the Coach's Corner and you don't have a notebook? We only have for so much time, so we have to get a lot of things in there. But if this end up being show 1 of this particular topic, that's fine. But so certain things such as planning does not avail you the secret ingredients, the active ingredients, until you commit to planning. Now, listen, that does not mean do not smell the roses in your here and in your now. But what it means is you are forecasting. And for some of us who've been going through hell and high water, we need to begin to forecast again by faith. And I know you got naysayers and doubters are on their job telling you what you can't do, what you must do, what I would do if I was you, and all of these things. But listen, forecasting is a sign of the hope that is to be fulfilled in the future, and the faith that I have now to begin the work. And if you do not forecast your future, it will be forecast for you. I don't want you to wait till the weathermen of your life or the weatherwomen of your life to tell you when it's going to be clouds. I need you to be able to do enough planning to know it's going to be some cloudy days. I need you to do enough planning to know it's going to be some rainy days. I need you to do enough planning to know it's going to be some hot days. And so we plan and we arrange our strategies around the possibility of hostiles. I need some help. We arrange our plans around the possibility there's going to be some mishaps. We arrange our plans and manipulate our strategies and reset our tactics around the possibilities that there's going to be some hiccups, that Humpty Dumpty may fall off the wall, and everybody would describe the fall as a great fall. And all Humpty Dumpty's, kings and whatever else will try to say it can never be put back together again. He can never be put back together again. That incident on your driver's license, that accident, that theft. We just recently had a theft here. My brand new car was taken. It was devastating because there was all kinds of media gear in that. We're going to be trying to do a fundraiser on that, so look for that soon. And it was just devastating. The commercial policy didn't cover this. It didn't cover that. It's just a nightmare. And so you're tempted now to sulk in the present. And the present soon becomes the past, for which there's no forecast for the future of which you're moving toward. I need some help. So today's message, encouraging message on the Coach's Corner, is motivating you, getting you past the point of frustration, past the point of cross-contamination, past the point of cross-pollination from today's situation into yesterday's pattern, and forecasting from that view, and to simply say, this is what I would like to do. So let's just talk about that just for a brief moment. What do you want to accomplish? What do you want to do? It's hard when you're in the thicket of trial and tribulation. It's hard when you're in or under the cloud of suspicion. It is hard and difficult when you're under the stress of day-to-day routines. But ask yourself the question with clear paper, recorder, or otherwise, what is it that I want? Don't be afraid that you may say that and answer that with excess, because life has a way of reshaping what we think we wanted to bring what we need. But let's at least say, what do you want out of life? What is your plan? Because the authenticity of a plan coming true is the fact that I will set a plan of what my plan and my connection to that plan will cause me to do. The authenticity of a plan coming true is the plan that tells me what to do. The authenticity of my plan coming true is the plan that tells me what I must do. What do you want out of your life? If you go too far, life has a way of pulling you back in. Do not fear answering the question. The reason why we want to ask questions, because we don't want to count the last loss. We don't want to count the last hostile situation. We don't want to count the last 20 haters. We don't want to count the last naysayers. We don't want to be bothered with the flags of the past connecting with the agitations of the present, depleting us, it seems, of the energy to go into the future and through our imagination to project or to forecast what should and can be, or to declare oxygenated moments within the possibilities of my future. I want you to take a moment to breathe into your future, the oxygen it will need to give back to you the fruit as you plan to work the root. I need some help. I want you to breathe oxygen into the future. The frustrations, the hesitations, the competitions, the situation, all of that you have experienced is yet for your development, yet benefiting you. And we're going to talk about that when we talk about crisis management. So the first thing you got to do is you got to ask yourself, what do I want? The second thing you got to do is find parts of your life before you finish your forecast. Find parts of your life that's attractive. Find parts of your life that's attractive that you could look at and say, no matter what, this is good. No matter who, too many times we hinge attractiveness to a person or maybe even a thing. Maybe there's a feature about your life that you are attracted to. I'm attracted to my ability to get on the mic and experience extreme calmness and disseminate to you the fortitudes of wisdom, and to allow you to give feedback and send reflections back, which I want you to do. Now, don't forget my email will be on screen at the end of the show. But what part of your life is attractive? What part of your life are you enjoying right now? I'm enjoying talking to you right now in this moment. I'm enjoying talking to you right now in this moment. What part of your life are you enjoying, or you would declare you will enjoy right now? As you what? Plan your life ahead of time. Ask yourself the question, what do I forecast? What do I see? Because you can never achieve beyond what you can imagine. Planning your life means take time to imagine. If you can imagine beyond things, that would be wonderful. But some of you are there, stay there where you are, work from there, and go yonder. Some of us are going through all kinds of catastrophe. And the intention sometimes of the catastrophe, beyond the lessons that we need to learn in the catastrophe, is to keep us from planning or imagining, to keep us in a negative vibe, if you will, negative energy outside of the spiritual realm of peace and wisdom, and never peak again over yonder. And there are some people whose job it seems to be to make sure that you never peek into the future, because they have dictated what the future will hold. Well, that's what I'm asking you to do when I say plan ahead. Then you dictate what the future holds for you. It doesn't mean that it will all come true, but it is a starting point for building momentum, and as I'll talk about in a few minutes, and managing crisis. Managing crisis. What kind of life do you want? What kind of life do you see? Whatever you forecast, do it from the base of some aspect of your life that is attractive right now. I know thoughts are crowding your mind. What could possibly be attractive in this situation? I'm not asking you to look within the situation to find attractability. I'm asking you to look in your life and find attractability. Situations should not dictate the definition of our lives. Situations enhance the definition of our lives. Find parts of your life that's attractive. And if you can move beyond the tangible, that would be ideal. What part of you do you like? What part of you can you enjoy? Very difficult. Very difficult it is for so many people to do or answer this question because of crisis. And that's one of my latter points for today as I talk about the flexible equation of future planning through the management of our crisis. I had a conversation with a young lady who knew of a young lady that knew me when I was a child that has gone through extreme trials, in their relationship. I was encouraged to hear she was still here. Discouraged to some content to hear that the deterioration of her mate due to an illness births even more disdain toward her, births even more resentment toward her, but yet she holds on. Yet she forges ahead and have forecast her future numerous times, sometimes out of desperation, sometimes out of intention, but have accomplished the outcomes in those forecasts. It brought me to tears to the degree that the oxygen in her possibilities could be felt hundreds of miles away. There are old stories still in the earth, in this America, in your region, in your town, of people surviving. Everyone is not leaving everything just because they don't like it. When you begin to live principle-centered living, you get a value and you stand by it. You get a principle and you live by it. The fly-by-night, the I don't like it today, I'm not happy tonight, I'll be happy tomorrow. All of these fly-by-night principles may be good for a shorter period of time, but for us who want to go deeper, higher, and longer, building legacy through longevity, we find that you're going to have some sort of stick and stay for the diamond to be reflective in its sparkles. I want to encourage you to begin to consider this last point. The management of your crisis is the central hiccup in our planning. Managing our emotions in a crisis. Christians, if I may borrow for a moment from life's practice, have been known to say that they articulate the word in such a way when crises occur and mention the name of Jesus as to halt the crisis, or others more mature as to declare their way through the crisis. But I just want to point out that the crises and the things that we experience through crises are nearly, in many cases, not all, unavoidable. But it is the management of our emotions in that crisis that becomes the central momentum builder as we move forward into an oxygenated, possible field future. Something pushed me right there. The management of how I feel, the gathering of my thoughts, and I'm going to give you a few tidbits to watch for. In a crisis, it is said among the experts, never make a final decision in the heat of a crisis. This is so true. But I found some others. Do not be afraid of its seemingly long, never-ending presence. Do not be afraid of its long, seemingly unending presence. If you can get in your mind the story of Job, if you can place in your mind the imprisonment of Joseph, if you can get in your mind the promise from God to Abraham and the wait between the promise and the delivery of Abraham's son, not to mention the fact that he told him to take his son to the altar. And listen, for those of you out there that are saying the Bible is not true, listen, let's pretend for one moment it's not. For me, if it was never true, it has been good enough to get me to this place. It has been great enough to keep me on the path toward destiny. The management of your emotions is central to our focus. It is the core momentum builder into the future. Failure to manage my emotions or to allow someone else outside my circle or they're in my circle, failure to manage my emotions or to allow others to impede on that management threatens the core momentum of my future building, my oxygenated possible moments. So now for the management of my emotions, I must stand guard more often and begin to meditate. Here are a couple of other things. And I say this now, I say it repeatedly. This is going to be a blessing to me in the end. This is going to work out for my good. Success is nothing but failure's lessons learned. Success is nothing but failure's lessons learned. In the foundation of managing my emotions through a crisis, there are a few things that I've learned to adopt. One, you cannot be afraid of a long-standing issue. I'm the proponent that says I don't like long-standing problems. I know I've said that on other shows, but at least you cannot be fearful of the issue not being resolved in the immediacy of your now. You've got to be comfortable with manageable pain to maintain momentum for future gain. The inability to have any kind of peace in the midst of pain threatens the stability and the sustainability of those oxygenated possible moments going forward. Take notes, rewind it back. As I close, the management of your emotions is a settlement to accept some problems may not be resolved right away. Some problems may not be resolved right away because I may not know what I need to know, but I'm learning as I go so that when I get to where I need to be, I'll be free of this situation. Why? Because I would have minimized the frustration having accepted the fact that crises do happen. And now I'm going to manage me through the troubled waters. I do that, perhaps you do that through your faith, through your meditations, through your interactions of physical activity, through quietness, devotion, through singing, through music, through writing, however and whatever your method may be. The point is, the management of the crisis, management of the emotions in your crisis is central to understanding that it may not go away today. Second, I accept I can have peace in the storm. I accept I can have peace in the storm. Third, I may have to give up something good to get something better. Don't read into that. Let it flow as it sounds. We have a lot of good things in our lives that seem to be great, but then when they're removed, we're distracted, emotionally disturbed because we can't imagine or hadn't forecast anything better. And just for today, the last thing that I want to share with you is this. In the end, you came into this world with nothing. You're already advanced. If you're breathing, right mind, 1 or 2 friends, 2 or 3 associates, and maybe I need to upgrade them, but at least I'm not an island. Today, I want you to plan ahead of time. Don't wait until you think you're going to need a car to plan for a car. Don't wait until you think you're going to need a raise to plan for a raise. Don't wait until you're going to meet him or her before you plan for him and her. Get you ready for the you want to walk into in the future. Until next time, this is Marcus Salette on the Coach's Corner. Follow me right there on Twitter. Give you the email so that you'll be able to have that. And I really, really trust that you will be encouraged today. Not a lot of fanfare today. I don't have a lot of bubbling tricks and things to say to you, though I may have said more wisdom than I realize. But I trust that as I approach this microphone today, that I have shared something with you that will allow you to come alive in this season, in this time, and move you forward toward the finish line. This is the coach.